Man, it's so good to see you, Eric. I know we just we closed the deal after looking around for some things and kind of just talking about the possibility of even buying a business. As an entrepreneur who'd been starting things, that to have this guy come and start talking to you about buying instead of starting, was that a weird transition for you, or was it something you had kind of been thinking about before?
It's interesting you say that is because when I had my coffee shop, I started that from scratch and did it. Then when I sold my coffee shop, I realized I'd much rather be on his side than I was on my side.
Yeah.
Because he was able to come in, have an established clientele, a base, everything was there, plus 6 years worth of data on how to sell in this area. So yeah, it was refreshing. It was something that I was ready to try to do that. I've started 5 or 6 different things. This was definitely different and something I was looking forward to.
Yeah. And we go through this process. One of the things I always tell people is it helps to have a really open mind. I can't tell you the number of folks I've worked with that by the end of it, they tell me, I'm so glad I didn't buy the business that I thought I really wanted at the beginning of this process. And we really try to find a business that matches a person's skill set as well as their personality. And I know just talking to you, one of the things that you said is like, on the surface, I didn't think I could get too excited about this, but we knew that you had some certain skills and a background that could highly be leveraged in this. So tell me at this point, we find a deal, it looks like, this is a little weird for me. Tell me, your perspective on that.
Yeah, so I would say definitely look at the business as maybe not exactly what their product or service is, but what type of skills are you bringing to the table, and could you see yourself plugging those in? So my background was in customer service, customer relations. I like few employees to no employees, and so those type of things is really what excited me. I liked online. I'd done retail before, didn't want to get in that, so maybe not in our case this product I was like super pumped about, but everything else matched, and then that's what really is important. So anybody else going through the system, I would say look at those things.
Yeah. One of the other things I'll say is that I think a lot of people coming in or they hear about us through a testimonial and that kind of thing, and most people are afraid of buying a business because they assume that it's going to cost so much money. And I just don't think that it's possible for them to go out and do that kind of thing. So if you don't mind, like maybe compare some of the times when you started something and the cost up front. And I mean, on this deal, I think even just the fact that we were able to get it financed at 90% is something that most people would say, oh, that's impossible. You won't believe the number of people that call me and tell me that what we do is an impossibility. It's like, well, no, we're doing it, so it's not. So
again, looking at that, when you start a business, I guess sometimes it's you don't realize how much it's going to cost. You just keep putting money in, and then down the road you go, wow, that was a couple $100,000 that it took to start this. We had to get a second mortgage on the home. We had to do different things to do that. And that's all to start at zero sales. You open up that first day hoping that you did some good marketing, that you got the word out, and the people are going to come in. But that's all hope. You really don't know. And so with this, to be able to leverage someone else's their investment, what they've already put into inventory and sales, and then be able to put that over a period of time, that's priceless. I mean, there's not many other opportunities like that. And to be honest, I think what you do, the reason a lot of people think that there's a lot of capital out there to start businesses, there really isn't. Like in a straight loan scenario, that doesn't happen a lot. And then even for these sellers of businesses, they understand to get top dollar, they're probably going to have to hold a certain amount of it. So I mean, looking at it and saying, this business is doing this, go to the bank and try to get 3x earnings from the bank that you have no experience in that business. Good luck. You're not going to get a loan. Owners understand this. They're willing to work, and worst case scenario for them, they go back to a business that they already had. So it's really not that bad of a situation. Plus they keep whatever money's already been invested.
I would say on both sides of those things. Number one, it's a lot easier to get the financing and have these creative kind of deal structures because you've got an asset that is profitable. When you're trying to go out and raise capital for something that is a startup, what that investor understands is, wow, okay, day one, you've got to go out, you've got to get a lease, you've got to maybe get some licensing, and you've got to spend that money. Then you've got to go out and figure out the marketing that you want to start to do. You've got to hire your team and start paying them and training them. Eventually you get to the point where you're doing some build out on your location and even buying inventory so that you can sell that. And then you finally get to grand opening and making sales. But even at that point, you're maybe 6 months, a year from break even. And so, it's kind of what I call the entrepreneurial lottery, because it's, am I going to be able to make it to break even before I run out of money? And that's a dangerous game to play. So it's a lot easier to raise capital when you've got an asset that is income producing. So overall, just going through the experience, finding a deal, closing a deal, now it's profiting and growing, and we had some really big wins first few weeks of owning the business. How would you describe your experience?
I guess if I would say like from easy, it was like on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being hard, it was like a 1. It's kind of funny that you can just get something that quick. Turn it around and just plug in because of my experience. Now, if you don't have that, maybe you don't. And so you won't realize like how hard that is. But from you and I having conversations to us signing the paperwork, super simple. And then taking it over because of the training, because of what you and I talked about what had to be in place. It was, go on day one. So a little bit of time with the owner, but it's been pretty hands off for him as well. The I guess old owner, he's been able to walk away pretty quickly because of the training, because of the things that we talked about. So,
and it really creates a win-win. I think some people may think, oh man, in order to do these deals, you got to take advantage of the seller. We basically structured a deal where he's got a big long-term win and it's getting everything he wants out of the deal. We've got a big win on the front end. So everybody, you can really balance these things so that both people win. Well, absolutely. I'm excited about this deal. I'm looking forward to the growth, man, and I'm excited to be your partner.